Here's to hoping the mics and everything are set up correctly.
It's a miracle that I'm here. That's all I have to say. I feel like this should
So, Paul, have you looked at the news or anything that's
No,
starting?
did something happen?
This is. I haven't been this glued to Twitter since it got hacked and Oprah was tweeting out like free bitcoins. This is so for the lucky person who has no idea what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
You've had it's like get your popcorn sort of weekend. So Friday, OpenAI, easily, without a doubt, the hottest company on the planet. Everybody wants action with them. Decides that they are going to fire their CEO. We did it. We fired the CEO.
To be clear, with the board of directors, right?
Board of directors.
And I think the important thing for people to understand, because no one would understand this, is that OpenAI has a really strange corporate structure.
They do, very strange.
And kind of a mission to advance AI for the betterment of humanity, right? Not to make a profit or whatever. And Sam Altman, as the CEO, had kind of worked around that by creating a subsidiary that does make money, et cetera, et cetera. So they, things have changed over there. And this is also this corporate structure, sorry to keep going on and on, but is why Microsoft's arrangement with them is so unique. There's Microsoft doesn't have representation on the board. It doesn't have any ownership in the company. It's a unique company. It makes Google, and people forget this too, like how weird it was when they went public. I think it was like a Dutch auction and they did all this weird stuff. It makes them look normal by comparison. It's a very unique and strange company. So I'm sorry.
So everybody keep that in the back of your mind because it is important.
Yep.
So
it is important.
So they fire their CEO. Microsoft, who has on the books for literal billions of dollars, had no idea.
The final day of Microsoft's biggest trade show of the year.
Yeah.
All about AI.
They fire the guy.
No, I mean, the timing is astonishing. It's so wait till Monday, huh?
They fire this guy. They demote one of the other founders who was on the board to like a presidential role. He immediately resigns. He's like, I'm out. So this puts everything into chaos. They promote somebody else who is a founder who is also on the board, a temporary CEO. So then chaos ensues because, hey, Microsoft's like future is literally tied up in this company.
Oh, by the way, was also flying all day Friday. So
yeah,
I had a 45-minute layover in Chicago. I didn't have any time. And this is all going down. And of course it is,
Of course, this is all old news. Like this is how crazy the weekend was. So all this happens. So then on Saturday, we hear the board's like, maybe we screwed up. And like there's Sam Altman tweets pictures out of him going back into OpenAI with a visitor badge on, apparently to try to negotiate coming back. Like they wanted him to come back. They realized they screwed up.
To be clear, we should also add, like, why did they fire him? And why
they said he was like not being completely truthful or something like that. And he was, I don't know. We still don't have that answer, like definitively, like what was the reasoning. So that all happens. Apparently, like Satya Nadella is on the phone with OpenAI members and Sam himself, like vouching, like you guys need to bring him back. Like I don't know what you're doing. Like you need to resolve these differences.
There was a public statement by Satya Nadella. It was brief.
Yep.
That we fully support the new interim CEO, whatever her name was, and blah blah blah, whatever. This is just a slice and time thing. It doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, they were told 1 minute before this went public what was happening. This company that invested $11 billion.
Yep.
Like, I mean, and
that is all now old
$10
news.
Billion a quarter.
This is Saturday. This is old news by now. So we wake up this morning. It's always good when the CEO of Microsoft is tweeting things out at 3 a.m. So
I just on a weekend. Yeah, exactly.
So at 3 a.m., technically Monday morning, Satya tweets out, he's like, hey, Sam Altman and his co-founder are joining Microsoft in a new advanced AI team, and they're going to be employees. But it doesn't end there. Like I was thinking like, okay, well, there we go. That doesn't end there.
Plus, and then OpenAI, their board decided, they at one point they were like, maybe we'll all resign and he can come back. There was some talk of a different corporate structure. They replaced their interim CEO with another interim CEO.
The guy from Twitch who was not liked.
I mean.
Which, by the way, you're the hottest tech company on the planet. You took 48 hours to find a new CEO.
Not anymore, they aren't. He says in the voice of Inspector Clouseau. you know?
So then after
Not
Satya
anymore.
Nadella tweeted out at 3 a.m. that Sam was joining it,
Yep.
posted up on Wired today, they got a letter that nearly 500 of the 700 employees of OpenAI are threatening to walk out immediately if the board does not resign. Now here's where it gets even better. Apparently Satya Nadella made the promise to Sam Altman that every single one of those people could join Microsoft immediately.
All right. And I have some theories about that, but please continue.
And this is where we're at. So the board is in shambles. The entire company is threatening to walk out. 507 employees. OpenAI will be done overnight. The leadership is now in place.
OpenAI could disappear within 24 hours,
Yeah,
dude.
the leadership team is now in Microsoft. Although that letter from the Wired employees is saying like, if the board doesn't resign and Sam comes back, like we're done. So effectively, Microsoft could backdoor their way in. This is a very
Right.
It reminds me of Intel buying their future. Microsoft could backdoor their way into absorbing all these people overnight and immediately having effectively OpenAI under their hood.
So
It's not
you
a
said
it's not a
Microsoft-
because when all this was happening and I tweeted this out, one of my great tweets. I will fully put myself on there.
Okay.
So like as soon as they fired him, I tweeted out, it says Microsoft is recommending Stephen Elop be the new CEO of OpenAI. But they're not going to need him.
You're not the only one to draw the Nokia comparison, although you know
They're not going to need him.
Yeah. So, okay, a couple of things. So I was at Microsoft Ignite last week, as I'm sure everybody knows, and I talked to multiple people. I sort of opened up my theory that I've had for a long time now that OpenAI was going to screw Microsoft over at some point, right? The thing that did come out this week, and by this week I mean since Friday night, basically, is that Microsoft's investments in OpenAI weren't as direct as we thought. Like that company actually doesn't have direct access to that cash in a way that, you know, maybe everyone sort of assumed. But regardless, that because of the weird corporate structure of the company, which is literally based around that, strategy of we're doing this to benefit mankind, not to make you rich. I always felt was going to come back and screw them at some point. And by the way, not one person I talked to from Microsoft was like, "Oh no, that's never going to happen." They were all like, "Oh yeah, no, we know." like this has been the fear from day one. But this is, I think, going to turn into Microsoft potentially doing what Apple does to all of its partners, which is end run around them and then eliminate the need for them. And now, given what you just said, given the latest developments, which again, by the time this show goes out, will probably be obsolete anyway, because everything's moving so quick. They might not have to. It might just happen. Like they might literally, the OpenAI probably can't continue without Microsoft. They may have to. Microsoft might just take it over. And that was something, if we had talked Friday, was never in the cards.
Oh,
Like
I know.
before
Imagine on
announcements.
Thursday we said, well, by Monday, 500 of the 700 employees might be Microsoft.
Well, Microsoft
employees.
just owns OpenAI. Like no, that's not possible. It's not possible. And now it is in some ways. I mean, this is a slice in time, but to me, it seems like the most likely outcome. It's just like so crazy. Like I know.
Like part of me looked at this too when I saw that he got hired. Like if you make the assumption that all this does transpire and like OpenAI effectively fizzles or something or whatever, or Sam Altman stays at Microsoft, I can almost assure you that he is pretty high on that list of being the next CEO. Like as of
Microsoft.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jeez, of course. God, I mean,
Now I'm not saying in the
I
next.
didn't even. My mind didn't even go there.
I'm not saying in the next 12 months,
No,
but Satya's been there for almost a decade, right?
This guy is new blood, and
if Microsoft, as we know, is betting their future on OpenAI and Sam Altman effectively, like that org, if he comes in, can bring those people in and actually get Microsoft internalized with all this stuff, there's no way he would not be near the top of that list.
That's very interesting. Now he's assuming nothing changes, right? In other words, like he is the CEO of some new AI research, something at Microsoft, right? I assume he will stay in Silicon Valley.
Probably.
Now, for him to be CEO of Microsoft, we'd have to make some changes.
Again, this is more of a aspirational
it's
5-10 years
future,
from now look.
That's very interesting. Sorry, that's something that hadn't crossed my mind.
Yeah.
But now that you put it in my brain, it's I can't find any fault with that logic. So we'll see.
I mean, it's
We'll
as
see
of
what
right, right.
happens.
He could do all this, and then we find out like, hey, he actually had no control over OpenAI, and he was just the face and whatever else. But I don't get that
I
sense.
mean, he was one of the co-founders. Listen, this guy has actually a pretty rich history of entrepreneurship, Y
Yeah.
Combinator and so forth. I mean, I don't know, but he is he's a good public face. I
Yeah.
mean, I think he would be, I think he'd be really good at that, actually. I mean, we'll see. That's very
I know.
interesting.
Like
By the
that
way,
was the. I mean, obviously Satya likes him quite a bit right now,
yep.
and he's in a good position. And if someone's going to say like, "Well, Satya's not retiring," and I don't think he is.
No,
But-
no.
But at some point, you have to. I mean, how long does he want to be CEO? He probably doesn't want to be CEO forever. And you got to start thinking like, who is the next generation of talent that has the engineering capabilities and also understands the market? Altman fits that quite well, especially if he's in house.
Yeah. I suppose there's still some version of this where the OpenAI board leaves, Altman goes back there,
Yeah, that's
and then the
still
corporate
possible.
structure does change, and Microsoft probably takes an ownership portion of something, and that kind of irons
if
out.
their structure changes in any way that Microsoft can grab a bigger slice of that pie, they will spend that money tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. In fact, what's the return date on Activision Blizzard in case they needed the cash?
Yeah, it's like, are they still in that 30-day win?
It's like you break it, you buy it, kind of a thing.
Microsoft, I would be willing to say Microsoft would willingly spend $70 billion to get 10% more of OpenAI if they could get a seat on the board and be in total control.
There is also, like I said, there's a scenario now where OpenAI just disappears.
Yeah.
Like it's fascinating. I mean, because this was like the biggest startup in tech since, Google or something. I mean, it's crazy.
That is probably a fair assessment.
Yep. It's
Well.
incredible.
Anyways, it's a holiday week. Thought it was going to be easy.
Nothing's ever easy.